Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. As the Orange Democratic Party is trying to balance between looking like they're supporting Kenyans and at the same time working with a government that has lost touch with the people, there is one face that is missing in action. Because apart from the balancing act that the ODM party is trying to achieve, there are also wrangles within the party, and Raila is trying to calm things down. And it is all about Edwin Sifuna, who has been very fiery and telling off Raila Odinga and even telling ODM that Ruto is a passing cloud. But in the midst of all this confusion and political storm, there is one man who has been missing. That is the Kisii governor, the fiery, controversial Simba Arati. And that is not something that we really take lightly, because in politics, everything has a reason, or everything happens for a reason. Number one, you should understand that Simba Arati is not just an ordinary man within the ODM. There was a time he was blowing hot and cold. It is like he wanted to work with William Ruto. Then Raila moved fast and he was elevated to the position of a deputy party leader. So that means Simba Arati, together with Abdul Samad from Mombasa and Ososi from Western, both are deputy party leaders. It only means one thing: in the absence of Raila, they carry the mantle. But when you see him missing in action, then you know something is wrong. Recently, during the Central Committee, where they passed a resolution to continue working with William Ruto, Abdul Samad was there, Osotsi was there, but Simba Arati was not there, and I stand to be corrected. I have looked at those pictures and I've never seen Simba Arati. Even in Kakamega, where they met Kakamega delegates in that forum, that function, Arati was missing. You know that Arati is not a quiet man. We've not seen him defend Sifuna, talk about him, talk about ODM in any of these forums recently. It behoves one to ask what exactly is happening. That's what I want us to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are here for the first time, please take a second or two and subscribe to our channel. Please click the notification bell. When you do that, YouTube will notify you whenever we release a video like this. If you are our returning subscribers, please like and share videos, and thank you very much for your continued support. Now, to give us a picture of what is happening, I have tried to check, even in social media pages, whether Simba Arati is saying anything, is he out of the country, and this could be the last post, and I'm saying could be the last post that he gave when he urged Raila Odinga to support Fred Okengo Matiangi in the event that he will not be running for president. Kindly take a look.
We have our own in Kisii, that's Matiangi, whom I'm supporting. I'm the spokesman of the Kisii community. And being a spokesman of the Kisii community, it calls upon myself, indeed, to stand with the person that I talk on behalf, and that is Fred Matiangi. We want to urge our brothers all over the country, let us see the candidate of Matiangi, and I'm calling upon Honorable Gachagua, if indeed the passion that you have for the change of the country, the only change that we can get it through Matiangi when you are supporting him. If Ruto today decided to support another person, let us assume he has vacated office in his first term, we ask him to support Matiangi. Baba, if it's possible, if you're not running, support our brother, Dr. Fred Matiangi. That's the call I'm making. There is some people who are extortionists in the camp of opposition. Their business is collecting money from unsuspecting candidates. We want to warn them. that we can't move far with this kind of people in the struggle. Otherwise, you'll be puncturing us before we make a move.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Simba Arati goes missing in action, and then we see him daring Raila to support Fred Matiangi. What does it tell you? Ground imekata. You've listened to Rigathi Gachagua always goes to a place and he says, nimekuja tu kusikiza ground. It is real. At this point, some people will still try to live in denial. But ground imekata. We've always, shouted out our lungs that ODM is losing popularity. And as this happens, ODM leaders also fear for their political fate, for political future. Simba Arati saw how Fred Matiangi took the two counties, that is Kisii and Nyamira, by storm. Business came to a standstill. So Simba Arati he's in a dilemma between a rock and a hard place. He has some respect to Raila Odinga, but at the same time, the ground is forcing him to work with Fred Matiangi for his political future. So there was a time I saw a video where he was inviting Fred Matiangi to come to the ODM. And these people on the ground, because as the governor, he's got his intelligence on the ground. They tell him, Nikubaya. So he's worried. He's making such statements that, Baba, you see, he's a little bit careful. Baba, in the event that you will not be contesting, tafadhali support Fred Matiangi. But I know people are asking him, decide. You are either with Baba or with your brother, Fred Matiangi. And that is why he has taken a sabbatical leave, because he doesn't know. If he goes full-blown supporting Matiangi, the ODM Luo members will tell him, quit, the way they are daring Edwin Sifuna. If he supports Raila publicly and so much, then the people on the ground are telling him, okay, you will decide whether you listen to us, those who supported you, or you're going to listen to Raila. A time has come when some of these leaders will decide, and it is not only in Kisii. In Central, leaders have been forced to decide whether they want to support Rigathi and, of course, the people, or remain with William Ruto. This broad-based government animal will cost some members of parliament their seats because they are worried. If I ditch William Ruto now, nitafuatwa. If I stick with him, the ground is not with me. So the ground is bad. And I believe that is why Simba Arati has decided, let me go missing. When you go missing, it is like you are told you are under arrest. You have the right to remain silent, because whatever you say will be used against you in a court of justice. So Simba Arati has the right to remain silent. While when he's silent, the members of the party, ODM, that sponsored him to office, he will not attract their attention so much. At least luckily for him, the guns have been turned to Edwin Sifuna. And the members of the followers of Matiangi will not also see him as someone who does not want to support Matiangi. So it's better to keep quiet. The only thing I don't know is whether he's talked to Raila and maybe amemwambia, hey, hapa ni kubaya, wacha ni kae at the periphery kidogo. As we head towards 2027, no one will afford to sit on the fence. He will be forced to come out, either to risk defending his seat using ODM or support Matiangi. And here's the problem. When he supports Matiangi, that is an automatic support to Gachagua. And you've seen the way William Ruto is dividing the ODM and the Luo. They make Gachagua look like a scarecrow. The same thing he did to the Kikuyu nation, Raila looked like a scarecrow. There's this argument that if Raila leaves the broad-based government, then certain members of Mount Kenya MPs would be very easy to work with William Ruto. That the only problem is that he joined, or he allowed Raila to join the government, and then they pushed away Rigathi Gachagua. So ladies and gentlemen, if you are Simba Arati, what would you do? Because maji yamechafuka na you have to sail through. Where is Simba Arati? FREDRICK Matiangi factor. Matiangi amechafua ground. There is no breathing space. He's also looking at his political future that must be grounded on Fred Matiangi. But from the look of things, Simba Arati will ditch ODM. Ladies and gentlemen, kimeumana, and that is the reality on the ground that some people do not want to understand. It only tells you that ODM's popularity is dwindling, like Barack Muluka said in an earlier video that we did today. Barack says Raila has been suffering from slow puncher, and finally he has gotten to a point when he joined William Ruto, he got a flat puncher. Those who still want to live in denial, call Arati and ask him where he is, and you will understand what is happening. That's my take.